Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So yesterday I watched a viral video where an alpha mentioned, I think during the course of his lecture, that if a married woman has extramarital affairs and became pregnant from it, the child belongs to her husband and not to the man that slept with her. This video has generated, as expected, so many reactions on the social media. I've seen comments even by Muslims condemning the alpha and claiming that such statement is not in line with the teachings of Islam, among other things that I've read. So I just want to address the issue, inshallah, from a Sharia perspective. But first, let me mention that I watched a 30 seconds video or thereabouts. So I do not know if the alpha referenced his statement or maybe he later clarified what he meant by what he said. But as Muslims, it is important that we learn about our deen before making statements or making comments on what people have said, so that we do not end up condemning people for saying what is right or validating what is wrong. And I also want to advise our public speakers to always be careful of the kind of statement that they make, so as not to put people in confusion. To the issue, one thing we must all understand is that in the Sharia, every form of transaction, aqdu, which is about two people agreeing on a thing, transaction, has certain rulings. So basically, all forms of transaction, it could be buy, it could be sale transaction. Sale transaction validates ownership, atamalluk. It validates ownership. So once you buy a thing from someone, the ownership of that thing belongs to you completely once you have paid the money to the person. So having exchanged money for good, the good belongs to you 100%. Whatever you do with it, that is up to you. It could be al-ijara, it could be lease or rent, which also validate al-intifa, that you benefit from the item for the duration of the lease or of the rent. And after the duration, you return the item to the owner. So for lease or rent, you don't have full ownership. It is like a partial ownership because you are merely enjoying the benefits of the thing you rented. The same thing goes for nikah. So once Aqdun Nikah has been conducted between a man and the woman, the man who now is the husband has the benefit of al-istimta', enjoyment, sexual enjoyment with the woman that he has married. And for the duration of that marriage, so long as the Aqdu remains sahih, then only he has the right to enjoy the body of the woman, and whatever comes out of that sexual intercourse is entirely his. This is very clear. But let's play logic here. Let's assume that I went to the market to buy a she-goat and I brought it home, started rearing it. My she-goat goes out and the e-goats in the community, maybe one of them or several of them, started sleeping with my she-goat, and the she-goat came back pregnant and gave birth to a baby. Will any of the owner of the e-goat in the community come to my house to claim the child that my she-goat has birthed, because he thinks it is his e-goat that has slept with my she-goat? The fact that I bought a she-goat, whatever comes out of that she-goat belongs to me. It doesn't belong to any goat that slept with my she-goat in the community. So this is a pure logic. So if this applies to animals that do not need consent to sleep with each other, nobody needs akudu nikah for animals to sleep with each other. Animals barely sleep with each other just anywhere, anyhow. So if animals that do not require akudu nikah, that do not require the consent of the owner to have intercourse with themselves, no one can lay claim to the ownership of the babies born by the she-goat. The babies belong to the owner of the she-goat, not the owner of the e-goat, not the e-goat itself. So how then do you think that human beings that have sense, rational beings, that one requires the consent of a lady's father before you can marry her, and then have intercourse without valid intercourse in a valid marriage, that a man outside who slept with your wife unauthorized will have a claim to ownership of the baby. So from this logic, this should be very clear. But then let's go to the Sharia point of view. It is correct that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-waladu lil-firash wa lil-ahir al-hajar." The child belongs to the firash. The firash here means bed, literally, but technically it means the husband of the woman, the man that has the akdun nikah, that has the valid marriage contract. The child belongs to him. وَلِلْعَاهِرِ الْحَجَرِ. As for the adulterer who slept with the woman, he has nothing. He takes nothing. He is at loss. And in fact, he should be punished for sleeping with the wife of another man. So this hadith is sahih. It is found in books of authentic hadith. It has been reported on the authority of a whole lot of Sahaba. Aisha radiallahu anha, the Prophet's wife; Saudat bint Zamwa, the Prophet's wife; Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As; Abu Huraira; Umar bin al-Khattab; Al-Hussein bin Ali, among other companions that of course, including Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. It is mentioned by Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As, who said, قام رجل فقال يا رسول الله. On one occasion, a man rose and said, "O Apostle of Allah, inna fulanan ibni, so and so is my son. Ahartu bi ummihi fil jahiliyyah. I slept with his mother in the jahiliyyah." The Prophet ﷺ said, "La da'wata fil Islam." There is no such nonsense claim in Islam. The claim of paternity of a woman you did not marry is not in Islam. Islam does not condone that. Dhaba amrul jahiliyyah. Such matters of jahiliyyah, things you used to do in jahiliyyah, has gone for life. Islam will never condone such. Al-waladu lil-firash. The child belongs to the man to whom the woman was married. The child belongs to the man to whom the woman was married. And this was how the Prophet solved the matter, because in the jahiliyyah, people were used to claiming such. So if a woman says, "This is the man that I slept with, this is the man that I got pregnant for," even if she were married to another person, the child will be given to the man that the woman says owns the pregnancy. So Prophet said, "Dhahaba amrul jahiliyyah." Such matters of the jahiliyyah have gone for life. Islam does not condone such. Al-waladu lil-firash. The child belongs to the husband, the man that has the legal marriage over the woman. It is also recorded that during the Fatih Makkah, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas rose and grabbed a child and said, "This child belongs to my brother Utbah bin Abi Waqqas." Now, the scholars of Hadith said, during the Jahiliyyah, Utbah bin Abi Waqqas said to his brother Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, "I had intercourse with a slave girl of Zamwa bin Qais, and that intercourse resulted into a pregnancy, and she birthed a baby boy who was named Abdurrahman bin Zamwa." So Utbah bin Abi Waqqas said to his brother Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, "Abdurrahman bin Zamwa is my son. I want you to take care of him for me, claim him and take care of him for me in the event of my death." So during the Fatih Makkah, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas saw Abdurrahman bin Zamwa and grabbed him and said, "This is my brother's son. He's my nephew." And he took him to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it became a dispute between Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas and Abdu bin Zamwa. Abdu bin Zamwa is one of the children of Zamwa, and a brother to Saudatu bint Zamwa, the wife of Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when they got there, and the Prophet said, "Okay, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, explain, how did your brother come about this boy?" And Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas said, "Yes, in the Jahiliyyah, my brother slept with the slave girl of Zamwa bin Qais, and this Abdurrahman was born out of that sexual intercourse." So the Prophet looked at the boy. He resembled Utbah bin Abi Waqqas. The boy resembled Utbah bin Abi Waqqas. But Prophet said, as far as the Sharia is concerned, Al-waladu lil-firash. The child belongs to the man with the legal marriage over a woman. Walil-ahir al-hajar. And the adulterer has nothing. He gains nothing. He takes nothing. So he said to Abdu bin Zamwa, "Take Abdurrahman. He is your brother." Because the slave girl with whom Utbah bin Abi Waqqas had intercourse belongs to Zamwa bin Qais. And the Prophet ﷺ said to Sauda bint Zamwa, "Ihtajibi minhu." You have to screen yourself from Abdurrahman bun Zamwa henceforth, because even though technically, as far as the Sharia is concerned, it belongs to your father, is your brother, but biologically he is the son of Utbah bun Abi Waqqas, and as a result you have to use your niqab whenever he's around you. So this is the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We must know that the Sharia is very clear on this. No DNA can validate paternity of the child born by a woman who is married to another man. The husband of that woman owns that child. But if it becomes clear that the woman also confessed that she had intercourse with this man, and so this child belongs to this man, and the husband wants to free himself from this child, he doesn't want to claim paternity, then there is something called al-li'an, mutual imprecation, in the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a case where a man accuses his wife of having extramarital affairs, and he has no other witness but himself. He is the one that witnessed the act, either physically or maybe he saw signs through their chats, through their phone calls, or some other means. So, and this man wants to divorce his wife on this basis and probably get her punished for having extramarital affairs, among other things. Then he has to swear by Allah 4 times before a judge. He has to swear by Allah 4 times that this woman has committed this act of zina. So if the man wants to free himself from the child, then he has to go through the process of li'an. He can't just say, okay, since the DNA said it is not my child, or since my wife has confessed that he's not my child, okay, you can take the child and go. It doesn't work like that in the Sharia. He has to go through li'an. He has to swear by Allah 4 times that wallahi, this child is not mine, or wallahi, my wife has committed the act of zina. And so he swears 4 times, and then the 5th time he will say, may the curse of Allah be upon me if I am telling a lie. So Almighty Allah mentioned this in Surah Nur, Quran chapter 24. You can check the verse yourself. So, and the woman shall be subjected to punishment for adultery, which is stoning to death as far as Sharia is concerned. If the woman want to escape the punishment of stoning to death, probably because the husband was telling a lie, the child belongs to him, the husband is only making false claims, then she also has to swear by Allah 4 times that wallahi, the husband is telling a lie, I did not commit any act of zina, I did not have any extramarital affairs. And then the 5th time she will say, may the wrath of Allah be upon me if he is speaking the truth. And so the 2 of them will be separated for life. They will be divorced for life. They will never have any cause to marry each other again. And then the child will be that of the woman. So the woman goes away with the child. لأن ولد الزنا لا ينسب إلى أبيه ولا يلحق به, because a child born out of wedlock is not ascribed to the father. So you don't ascribe him to the father, you ascribe him or her to the mother. So in this case, after the divorce has been pronounced between them through li'an, then the woman will take away the child, and you know, that is just the end of it. But this is the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Finally, despite this being the position of the Sharia, it is also important to note that this is not a guarantee for women to start having sexual intercourse out of their marriage. It is haram in Islam for women or men to be sleeping with each other without a valid wedlock, and whoever is found committing this act is subjected to punishment, which is either 100 lashes for the non-married or stoned to death for the married. So nobody should see this as an opportunity that, okay, since the child belongs to my husband as far as Sharia is concerned, then I can do whatever I like, sleep with whoever I like, and then just bring the bastard child to the husband. On the day of judgment, Allah is going to judge between everybody that has committed such illicit affairs, and every child that you have given to a man other than the father, you shall account for it on the day of judgment. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all these evil acts. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.